It's a hot Saturday afternoon in Kenya, and I'm sitting on this 9-person matatu with probably a dozen people already packed in it. And the conductor is out in the junction waiting for a few more people to hop aboard so we can go back towards Kakamega, where my host family is living on the outskirts of town. I see this guy approaching me from the corner of my eye, but I don't know what he wants, so I keep looking forward, trying not to make eye contact. Hey, Chinese. Hey, Ching Chong. He leans into the window where the glass used to be and goes, "You're from China." Before I could think of anything better to say, I immediately spit out, "No, I'm not. I'm from America." "No, you're not." Before I had any way to formulate a response, a couple more people had hopped in and we started bouncing our way back down the dusty road, leaving me alone with anger, frustration, hurt. I tried again to remind myself what my Kenyan coworkers had always been telling me, that Kenyans don't have the same racial history as Americans do, that Ching Chong isn't a racial slur there, it's just the way that they refer to Asian people in general. But yet again, it didn't do anything to make me feel any better about it. So that night, I wrote in my journal, I'm Chinese in ethnicity, but not nationality. I'm American, and I wish that people saw that. I don't know why I feel so strongly about that, but I do. A couple days later, my dad sent me an email. He wrote, "Mei Mei, yes, you are an American, but you will always be a Chinese girl because your parents are Chinese. It's not a bad thing to be called a Chinese." And in that moment, I just felt this intense sense of shame because, again, my dad was able to articulate what I couldn't explain to myself. That I got into a point where being called Chinese felt like a bad thing. I had no idea how I got to that point. So I'm the daughter of two Chinese immigrants. My parents left China in the late 70s to pursue their PhDs at Queen's University. They then came to the US for work, and I was born in Boston, and 2 years later, my little sister was born at Durham Regional Hospital, where we've lived for the last 17 years. When I was growing up, my parents both worked, and so did my aunt and uncle. So my cousins, my little sister, and I were raised under the watchful glance of my grandparents. So my childhood is filled with the smell of freshly cooked dumplings, noodles, and the chatter of the Chinese soap opera that I was really scared of, my grandparents really loved. I remember a lot of summer days where we played so much Chinese poker that by the time that my cousin and I were 5, we were so good at it that my grandma had to stop letting us win so that she could have any shot at all. But I wasn't going to be surrounded by this Chinese culture forever. When I was in kindergarten, my parents decided to start me at Durham Academy, which is a private K-12 school not very far from Duke. It's a school of predominantly kids from rich, upper-class white families, and there the adults chose to try to build community by not talking about the differences that existed between students, creating a culture that encouraged conformity over the acknowledgement of diversity. So in elementary school, I really loved going to school, but I didn't really like Thanksgiving, because that was the time in the classroom when people would start to talk about their favorite Thanksgiving foods. My parents did not know how to roast a turkey, I never had mashed potatoes, and I had no idea what stuffing was. And this inability to participate in class discussions made me feel like my family was doing something wrong, that we were missing out on something that somehow we should have been doing. So every Thanksgiving, my sister and I would ask our parents to roast a turkey. And one year, we sat down, and my dad brought out this delicious steamed chicken. I don't remember, but apparently my sister and I both told him that it was the wrong bird. From that point on, we had turkey for Thanksgiving, and even though my sister and I liked chicken much better than turkey, neither of us said anything, because in those moments we felt like our family was a little less abnormal than it usually is. In middle school, I got a better sense of the way that my family differed. At that time, my grandma was living with us, and she had this way of picking up the phone. If you called her house when no one else was home, she'd pick up and go, "Hello?" And if you said anything that wasn't Chinese, she'd scream, "I do not speak English," and hang up the phone. And my friends would tease me, they thought this was hilarious. And I kind of brushed it off because it is pretty funny. But it did make me realize that people thought things about English that was accented. And so I began to cringe every time my parents would talk to my friends' parents, and I realized that they couldn't quite understand my parents' heavily accented English. And from that point on, I put a lot of priority on keeping my English perfectly accent-free, and consequently, the value that I placed on maintaining my Chinese language began to fall. Chinese school didn't really help this complex relationship that I had with Chinese language and culture. So on Saturday afternoons in Chapel Hill, all the Chinese parents would bring us kids to Chinese language school, where we'd spend 2 hours learning how to read and write Chinese, and we all hated it. It was horrible. But the only good part was the 20-minute break that we got halfway through, where all the elementary school kids would run around playing tag and the middle schoolers would gossip about what had happened in school that week. But a lot of times, my friends from Chinese school would go and meet up with their friends from the local public middle schools, leaving me all alone. So on those days, I'd wander the darkened hallways and just check out the art on the walls. And that sense of isolation really highlighted the sense that the Chinese culture and I just didn't belong. When I came to Duke, things began to change some. Recently, we did a writing assignment as a part of my lab where we had to write about the origins of our name. I was really excited because I know that my name has meaning. When I was born, I was given two names, Catherine, my English name that's on my birth certificate, but also a Chinese name, Yang Junmei. But when I sat down to write about my name, I realized that I couldn't. I realized that I didn't know what the second character was. My entire life, I've been called a nickname, so I barely ever heard it. I'd never seen it written, and I had no idea what it meant. Realizing that I had forgotten my own name really highlighted the sense that I distanced myself so far from my Chinese culture. And on top of that, forgetting that I didn't even know that I didn't know just highlighted how much I'd lost. When I told the story to my lab, my PI turns to me and goes, "Oh, have you ever thought about going back to China to study for a time?" I was surprised at how certain I was that I would not belong and that I wasn't even open to that idea because I knew that if I go, I would come back feeling more Chinese than when I left. And that really highlighted to me how far and how strong the instinct was to distance myself from anything that was Chinese. It's been over a year since I went to Kakamega. It's been over a year since I bounced my way back to my host family's home on the outskirts of town. I don't think I have any more answers now than I did then, but I do know that even when I was sitting in the back of that Matachu with all my feelings and no idea what to do with them, I never once felt regret. I never regretted going to Kenya. I never regretted putting myself in that uncomfortable situation because I knew that I'd chosen that program specifically for the same reasons that I'd chosen to come to Duke, because I wanted to force myself to grow by confronting challenges that I couldn't have even foreseen. So with that mentality, I think I'll keep trying to reconnect with my Chinese culture in the moments when I feel most open to it. In one of those moments, I asked my mom what my character Jin meant, and she told me that the word Jin means well-educated with a beautiful mind.